traffic, Twin Cessna 414, Charlie Whiskey's in the left downwind runway 36, circle to land 36. Full stop, Terrell.
Alright, are you ready? I'm ready. Terrell traffic, 738 Delta Tango is taking off runway 36 to be departure out to the north. Terrell. Alright, controls are all yours.
Alright, my controls, we're clear right. We'll be looking for him when we take the runway. Get our lights on as we cross.
Rockwall traffic, Skylane 759 Alpha Romeo, flight of 1.5 miles.
And we are doing soft field.
Airport down 335.
Yes.
Soft field as we take the runway, the stick's going to be all the way back. And we're not going to use any brakes, so heels are already on the floor. We're just rolling forwards. Rolling forwards. No brakes, sorry. Cross over onto the center line. Stick is in the wind. Okay, and we're going to slowly give ourselves a little power.
Cessna 414, Charlie Whiskey left base. Runway 36, circle.
The nose is going to kick up, that's alright. We're just going to hold it up. Okay, airspeed's alive. Nose is coming up. We're going to keep ourselves in ground effect here.
Traffic, Skylane 759 Alpha Romeo.
And we have no flaps, that's why our takeoff roll was a little longer. And we're okay now in the crab. Above 60, we would bring the flaps up. And we're climbing out just fine here at about VY now.
Very good.
More right rudder.
Good. And what did we say our VY was going to be today?
It's going to be about 72.
Very good. So what's the easiest one to see on that?
70.
Yeah.
I can't really see anything below 80, but
That's alright.
I know roughly where it is.
With your nose roughly about the horizon, you're going to be very close to it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Rockwall traffic, Skylane.
So what kind of pressure we got out there today?
Turning right base.
Nice high barometric pressure, I'm assuming.
That's right.
Alright, here's 500 feet.
Executing the published miss. I'll be holding at Horizontal.
And if you had to put a number on it, how much humidity do you think we got today? How close or how far apart was the spread on our temperature dew point?
What is it like? It was like 5 degrees or something like that? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah. Charlie Whiskey's clear, runway 1.
So with this higher humidity and a really high pressure, it's pushing all the moisture down, and that's what makes it so murky out there.
Right. Alright, now what we're going to do is find ourselves a nice point on the horizon to fly to. There's like a water tower right here, which conveniently I believe is the water tower near the fields that we want to go to anyways.
Beautiful.
So we'll point the nose right at it and we'll just fly towards that water tower.
Good. Now why do we keep our hand on the throttle?
Keep our hand on the throttle because what happens is it'll creep back on us and then we lose power. There's a big crash at Addison a couple years back because of that.
First power reduction usually will happen, or the first engine failure will usually happen on the power reduction.
Right.
So we want that power reduction to be on our say-so.
Charlie Aviation 414, Charlie Whiskey.
Alright, no point in climbing up super high, so we'll level off here at 1500 because we gotta be down low for our maneuvers anyway.
Good.
Keep these birds over there though. Again, we're getting a little right of our water tower, so we'll just make a correction and fly back.
Check traffic deck at 90 is about 3 miles west, inbound 35, Rocket.
I have someone from my school.
Aha.
I think I actually know exactly who that was. Alright, so we're about 2200 RPM at straight level flight. That's going to get us pretty close to VA. And we're using a little more forward pressure than I want, so we're just going to keep using some trim.
Good.
See if we can get that fixed. And again, we're coming straight towards our water tower. We're a little hazy out here. Okay, and this right here is our field that we're going to do our maneuver again.
Very nice.
Or over, I should say. And we know that the wind's coming from basically this way.
Good.
So we're going to want to swing around, give ourselves a downwind entry, and we can set up for S-turns across the road.
89878 is 10 miles to the south-southeast, inbound for 35 buoy.
Pull back the power a little bit more.
Cleveland traffic, Warrior 786 Delta Juliet. Left downwind departing to the south, last call, Cleveland traffic.
Do a little combination of a time checklist and pre-maneuver checklist. We have the flaps up and the mixture set for best power still. Fuels on both tanks. 2200 RPM set. We're just going to swing out here, come back around this pond.
Okay.
Scatterboat traffic.
And we're going to want to get down to about 800 feet AGL, so that's going to give us 1300 feet
Okay.
on the altimeter. We're just going to do a little descent while we're doing this. And I like this road right here that we're flying over right now. It's nice and straight, pretty long. We can get a couple of rotations in. Alright. So we'll start next to the intersection at the corner there.
Okay.
And we can kind of work from there. We are descending still. Let's trim out. What's that?
Here traffic, Cessna 49226, around 6 miles to the north. It's going to be touch and go for runway 36, Bahia traffic.
5 at the south end, crosswalk.
Let's try and climb ourselves back up a little bit. So again, when we enter this turn, it's going to be pretty much straight to 30 degrees of bank. And then as we cross the 90-degree point, so as we're facing basically straight towards Dallas, then we can go ahead and roll, start bringing some of the pitch out. So we're basically straight and level. Basically, because I'm not doing a great job, but basically straight and level at VA 1,200 feet. So that's where we want to end up every time we cross this road is 1,200 feet. So here's the road. We're going to go into 30 degrees of bank. And remember, we're going to need a little back pressure here. We can probably trim some of it. Okay. And here's facing towards Dallas, so we can start bringing some of this out. And we're just judging it based on how we are
Radio check.
getting towards this road. So as we're coming up on the road, we want to start bringing some of it out, bring some of it out, bring some of it out, straight and level here, and straight into the next side, slower on this side though.
Good.
And we also need a little bit more back pressure because we lost some altitude there. We're a little low on power, so let's bring that back in. It's creeping out on me. Okay, and here we're going to start steepening the bank. And bringing it out here, and we'll be wings level across the road.
We'll do one more, and then when we get on the other side, we'll circle back around to the water tower.
Okay. And using right rudder here, 30 degrees. Okay. And I'm going to start working it out, start working it out, start working it out.
That's here, Bravo, you up?
And yeah, not great on that one.
Alright. Well, let's just take a nice, slow, wide arc back over towards the water tower. Let's take this time to get back to our altitude. So you were saying you're going to increase more back pressure and play with some trim?
Yeah.
But what controls your altitude?
Our power.
There you go.
It got real low. We were at like 1900 RPM at one point there.
That's right. So we have a friction lock on there, so once you get it set where you want it, we can adjust our friction lock. So even though there's not really a speed other than VA that we have to worry about here, when you pick a speed, how much parameter do we have in that speed?
Plus or minus 10.
And then how much parameter do we have on the altitude?
Plus or minus 100.
You got it. So just take your time. Your first one looked real pretty. Even though we lost a little bit of altitude, your second one was a little bit too quick in the turn, so if you were trying to keep them equal, you had one that was a nice, graceful arc, and one that was very short.
Yeah.
Alright, let's try that again. I'm going to go back to being a student.
Okay. We're entering here. Oh, 1,300 feet this time. Wings level. Pitch level. And just waiting until we cross the road right now, so we're going to go basically straight to 30 degrees. And hold it. And facing towards Dallas. Go ahead and start working some of this out.
Working some of what out?
Working some of the bank out.
Oh, okay.
North.
And as soon as we're across the road, right here, that's wings level, and we'll go back the other way. Slowly on this side.
You say slowly, but we're already at 30 degrees away.
Left downwind.
And so now the wind is going to grab us like a sailboat.
Yep, and really pull us through.
And you're going to have to pull some Top Gun stuff here in a second.
Yeah. Alright, back to the right, 30 degrees, it's even slower on the roll to the right, to the left.
What kind of degree bank did you say we were going to do?
Should be 30.
Very good.
Facing towards Dallas, we'll start working some of the bank out. Working some of the bank out.
Alright, from here we'll take a nice wide arc back to the water tower again. And then I'll demo one, and we'll see how we compare. As far as what our discussion is going to be.
Right.
2.8 miles out northeast.
We're saying a lot of things that make this sound like we're checking a lot of things on the inside. So if you're talking about scan, how long should we be scanning? How long should we be outside? How long should we be inside?
Like 90% outside, 10% inside.
There you go. And so if I'm using this road as my reference point,
Course Canada traffic 911.
the name of the game is just to get my wings back on top of the road level and hopefully make them about the same size on both sides.
Right.
And so trying to hit 30 degrees of bank is a good initial point. I haven't heard it described that way before, but as far as the tailwind goes, that works great.
Okay.
But you might never hit 30 degrees of bank on that headwind side until you're past the 90 degrees.
6 more traffic says 286 more spec is on downwind, runway 35, full stop, 6 more.
I'm going to take one here real quick.
Okay, your controls.
I've got the controls, and so can you see the wingtip out there?
Out here?
Yep.
Yeah.
About 4 miles northwest of Tokyo, 2,400.
So anytime something's moving in front of my wing, it's going to start getting real tight, correct?
Right.
And if it's moving behind my wing, it's going to get real wide. Because I'm approaching here at 90 and 1,300 feet, like you've got it set up. Life is good. So the wind is behind us. I'm going to start my turn initially. I like the 30-degree bank thing, but I'm just going to look out there towards my wingtip of the road. How quickly am I gaining back on that road?
Pretty slow?
Yeah. And it's about to get slower because as I'm coming around and I lose the tailwind,
Right.
I'm watching the road.
Course Canada traffic.
You already described this part really well, so I'm shallowing the bank. And I'm just watching my relationship between me and my road. The closer I get to my road, depending on what angle I'm at, I just probably need to keep shallowing the bank. If I shallow it too quickly, I'm going to have to steepen it back up, so the point is to be smooth enough to do that. But when I watch this left side, so as I'm coming up to the road, we go wings level, this part you've got fine here. As I turn back, I may start around 10 degrees, or if I'm watching out there at the wingtip, I'm turning just enough to put my wing on the road.
Right.
If my wing goes to the other side of the road, I probably need to steepen my bank. And if my wing is on our side of the road, probably too steep. And now I've got time, so as I'm getting here with my tailwind, now I'm getting towards my 30 degrees of bank. Just like you had described. And as I'm coming around, this requires a lot less work on the yoke, right?
Yeah.
As I enter across the road, immediately to that 30 degrees of bank like you were doing, it works fine. But I really depend on the wind, so today around 10 knots, 30 degrees of bank works great, but on a day where the wind is, 20 or 30,
right,
you may be more. But I'm just watching that road again. If my wing is on the other side of the road, I'm too shallow. but the wing is on our side of the road, too steep, so I'm just trying to work my bank one way or the other, and that lets me, allows me to do a bunch of tiny adjustments.
Right.
As I'm approaching the road, I'm closing that gap, so I'm going to start shallowing my wings. Alright, it's all yours. We'll start back over there at the water tower again. Yeah, your first turn is looking real nice.
Yeah. That one I got. I think it's the one to the left, I think, is so bad that it's making my second right one.
210 miles northwest of the entering left traffic, 32 Corsicana.
Pretty well put back, turning right across runway 35, departing airspace.
Those left base 32. Left downwind running 60, cross surfing.
We might try this one or two more times, and then we'll move on to turns around a point.
Okay. Up here, 2100 RPM, about 90 knots. We got down to 1200 or so. Fine with me.
Go ahead and bump it up to about 2200 RPMs. There you go. Alright, I'm a student again.
Okay, so we're in at our steepest bank here, about 30 degrees, and we're using the wing on the road to judge our bank angle here. Facing towards Dallas, so we know from our planning that our bank's going to start to shallow up here. So right around here.
Terrell traffic, Cherry 15510 will be entering your left, downwind for 34.
Around here, and we can even keep the nose down so we're not climbing like crazy. We'll just keep the bank in. Fighting the little bounces. And here's wings level right here across the road. And we're just going to go slowly into the other side, couple degrees at a time. We're about 15-ish or so. And keeping the wing right on the horizon. Right on the road, I should say. It's looking nice. We don't need to do a dive, though. Keep our altitude. And the wing's just set on the road here. Nice and smooth. A little more bank, sure. Okay, and now we're working it out here. Across the road. Getting the wings level. Right about here. Okay, and again, we'll go into the right. And this is going to be our steepest bank right here. Okay, and we know we're going to start working it out soon. And we'll keep these, the wing right on the road here. Again, quick look inside to make sure we're not climbing or descending. And back out to the wing, back out in front because there's birds over there. And we're going to get a little tight on this side because I was a little early rolling out, but we can slow it down here and make sure that we are wings level right as we cross the road.
Cool.
Pretty
Well, let's
happy
make
with
our
that
way
one.
back over to the water tower again. That looked a lot better.
Yeah.
Our altitude was within standard, our speed was in standard, and our turns were nice and smooth and equal on both sides of the mountain. Good. Feel good about that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Once we get back over here towards the water tower, I'll leave it up to you. We can do another S-turn, or we can go find a spot to do some...
Yeah, let's do some turns around a point.
Cool.
We've got, use the center of the field. There's not really a whole lot there other than it being the center of those fences, but...
Yep.
Okay, no problem. We're at 1,500 feet right
do that, or we can pick something else.
I am just a lowly student.
Alright. We will pick, what do you think, around this water tower maybe? Might be a little, or we'll use this, why don't we use this intersection?
Okay.
A little easier to see here. So we're gonna fly out this way. Actually, we want to go around to the left so you can see what's going on, so we'll come out here first and then swing back around to the north.
Okay.
So the point of this maneuver is to keep a constant radius around our point. And it's going to be the intersection, not the water tower, but the big four-way intersection.
Okay.
And so the way that we're going to do that is by varying our bank angle to meet that, to keep that constant radius.
Very good.
So, we know from what we talked about on the ground that when we enter the turn, which we're not doing right now, we're just flying and talking.
Okay.
When we enter the turn, we're going to enter on the downwind, so that means our speed is going to be higher or lower than other phases. That was a question, but it's going to be higher, which means that we're going to need a steeper bank angle on the entry, and then this road divided it out pretty nicely for us because the wind is coming basically straight down. How many more of these do I have to turn?
Is it still not done this setup yet?
I don't know, maybe not, I guess not.
Oh, it's ready. So it's the little knob.
The little knob.
So go back to that page. Now it's the little knob. There you go.
So, we got down to 73 right there, so I bet you, basically right on this 45, kind of our steepest point. So, we're going to kind of try and keep about a quarter mile to a half mile radius is where we want to enter. Wherever we enter is what we're going to keep while we're doing this.
Okay. So how do you know when you're half a mile or quarter mile away from something?
Well, half a mile is going to be about halfway up the wing strut.
3 miles to the...
So why don't we set up for that? About half a mile.
Runway 32, course of contact.
And our first, basically, entry is going to be the steepest part. So we were at 95 right now, so this is pretty much the downwind. We're going to be straight and level. Strut's the road's halfway up the strut. And we're going to enter into a bank here. And we're just going to be varying our bank angle to keep that road right on the same position on the strut.
Okay. Now when you drew it on the ground, you said 45 degrees of bank.
Right. Well, I didn't feel like we needed that.
Okay.
We want to just keep a constant radius here. And we probably do want to get a little steeper.
Okay.
But not feeling like we need it. But the speed difference is pretty significant, which makes me feel like we need more bank. But I feel like we don't when we're flying. And remember, we're going to be crabbed out away from the point a little bit, correcting for the crosswind that we've got here.
Okay.
So right here, we're going to be easy bank. I'm trying not to fly it like a 8-on pylon and use my pitch.
I was going to say, we're slowly gaining altitude. But you're still within stand.
Go in and land on 3-2.
Okay,
We're just varying our bank angle to keep the point dead center on that wing strut.
Okay.
What did you, 55, they're setting left
And
3-3.
as far as that goes, how is it going to change if I'm changing my pitch along with my bank?
I'm changing my pitch along with my bank. It's going to make this maneuver a lot harder because we're going to do what we did now, and we got real close to the point.
Runway at about 100 feet AGL.
There's some slant range air here, like we're a DME station or something.
Clear runway 36.
So here's our steeper bank. We're a little closer, so we have to get a little steeper. And that's actually, I think, better
Okay.
than it was when we were pretty far out there. So now we're getting into our slow point, so we want to slow down. So we want to shallow out the bank, is what I should say. And again, we're kind of crabbed out into the wind here, because otherwise we're going to get blown in. So I think that was my mistake that I made on this half last time, is I didn't really do a good job of keeping a crab out.
Gotcha.
We're going to try and be a little more intentional about that this time, because I can tell we're still getting blown over our point. So what we're going to do is, when we get on this second half, this back half, we're going to get steep, so that we're going to kind of cheat and start the maneuver right here.
Gotcha.
We're going to get steeper over here.
Oh, steepo.
Yeah, so that we can keep this part from getting blown over. I think that was, now that I've done a couple laps here, that's my mistake.
Okay. And so what's happening that we've gained almost 200 feet?
We're just not doing a very good job of pulling back a lot is what we're doing. Okay. So we're going to be shallow through here, and so if we're steep on this half, on the back half, we need to be shallower there. Otherwise, we're going to basically eat up everything that we just we just tried to give ourselves, if that makes sense.
Very
So,
good.
going to be shallow here. Basically, this whole back half where we're going really slow, we're at 73 right now, should be pretty shallow.
Good. And then, without a GPS, how would I know if it was timed as shallow or steepen?
We can look at just where the wind is blowing.
Okay.
Kind of figure ourselves out that way. We can also just visually do these a couple times and figure out. So this is our steepest point here.
Good.
Okay. And 93, so soon, right about here, I bet, our ground speed's going to start to drop. As it keeps picking up, of course, because we're in a little descent. 93, 89, see now our ground speed's dropping, so we need to start bringing some of this bank out.
Okay. Now all of your instruments on the inside, these are all past tense items, right?
Right.
Your primary feedback, your fastest feedback is going to be your eyes outside.
Right.
So, not too bad. We're doing pretty well, but what's happening is you end up having to climb and climb because while you're looking at this, the point is most of the time staying slightly in front of the wing or slightly in front of the middle part of the wing. You remember on ATOM pylons, if you keep something too far forward, it's going to get a tight circle, right?
Right.
So our circle is getting slowly tighter and tighter, and for you to make that happen, you've got to pull up more
Right.
to make that work. Altitude-wise, the lower the altitude you're doing ground pressure maneuvers, everything happens quicker.
Right.
So at the higher altitudes, everything happens slower.
Slower.
Another way you can make things happen slow is to push wide. There's all kind of different weird little caveats to this. So, in this case, you see that little antenna hanging out down here at the bottom of the wing?
The ADS-B antenna? Yep.
Got a little bit tight.
So, you're talking about crabbing in and crabbing out. So, if our road is trying to move to the front, we're moving slow, so we need to shallow up the bank.
Right.
So right now our road is in front of our point, correct?
Yeah.
So, by shallowing up, you're flying away from our point. You're trying to move the point back to the middle or even behind. As you lose the headwind, like we're about to do, the point is going to start moving back behind that antenna.
Right.
If it moves back, we need to increase our bank angle. If you let it hang out towards the back, our circle will get wider, and then we can be lower. If you let it hang out towards the back, well, there's all kind of things we can do with it. But as far as watching where your point's going, if you drop that antenna right in the middle of the intersection and kept it there, we would fly like an egg, because for us to move in a way to keep that antenna directly in the middle, it only works if there's no wind.
Right.
Since there is a wind, we're going to have to move the antenna or move that fix, however you want to use it, either in front or behind. So in this case, we're getting into the headwind. It's going to start moving towards the front. We need to shallow the bank to keep it in the middle or behind the wing.
Right.
And that's our crabbing. And you're just watching it. As soon as it starts trying to move towards further back, now you're going to start increasing the bank to move the four-way intersection back towards the front of the wing or front of the antenna. And we can see that before that ever changes.
Yeah.
And all this does is smooths it out. It widened our circle, didn't it? Now you've got more time to think. Being at 1,500 feet gives you more time to think.
Right.
I like 1,300 feet too as well. Like when we're out there, when I want to make somebody work and really see this happen in a really quick pace, I'll have them right down there at the 600, 700 foot mark. Now they've got to really react to that wind quickly. But up here at 1,400 feet, you've got a lot more time to think about it.
Right.
At 1,500 feet, you don't have the plus 100 anymore.
Yeah.
So, that being said, let's play with it. Drop on down to 1,200 feet. And while we're losing altitude, let's keep doing the same thing.
We'll be entering the left downwind for 35, West County.
So we got a little ahead here. Right.
And so so far as I felt, you haven't been tempted to cheat with the rudder pedals, so
Yeah.
kudos.
I haven't been trying to cheat, so that's good.
We'll be overflying the field entering left traffic, left downwind 32, towards Canna.
I feel like I might be getting a little wider to try and compensate, though.
There you go. And so if we're trying to make the circle small while we're losing altitude, what can we do?
I want to move the point forwards.
Yeah.
Alpha 4 to the north, inbound for the 45 left downwind for runway
Keep
36,
it
tail
center.
traffic.
Look out the other way, stretch our neck.
yeah, exactly. Good. And so as the point tries to move back, you're going to turn with it to keep it towards the front until you hit about 1,200 feet. And now when you put the power back around 2,200 RPM, 2150, whatever you had, now you just got to work everything a lot faster.
Right.
Because you've got a lot more relative motion down here. Good. Now, if you no longer want to keep getting closer to it, what do you have to do?
Now I gotta move it back.
Good.
Yeah.
So from a private pilot standpoint, they only have to know how to keep a constant radius.
Right.
From the CFI standpoint, you have to know why they're not or how to change it. And this works just as well for the ATOM pylon.
We're on about
Yeah, same concept, but a different kind of reference point, I guess.
Right. Well, different. How do we keep our radius? We're using it with bank angle.
Right. Really shallow here.
I felt bad for my very first private student I ever took up after I got my CFI. We spent all our time doing ATOM pylons.
Yeah.
And I picked her up and I was like, well, show me turns around a point. And she's doing this. And I was like, man, that's all wrong here. And I started just cranking the pitch back and forth. And she goes, well, that's neat. I've never seen it done that way. And then like after the lesson as she left, I was like, ah, crap.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. So even here at 1,100, 1,200 feet, while it's moving quickly, you're still able to move at a metered pace because you're able to watch your point and get that instant feedback loop.
Yeah, so right around here is where we need to start bringing some of the bank out.
Good.
And then we just really shallow through this part here. Does this also apply during steep spirals?
Yep.
Wow, that would have been really helpful a couple months ago.
It does.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, really shallow here. I'll go back to teaching mode now that I've been taught. Really shallow here. And then as we start to make this turn, that wind wants to pick us up, so we're kind of fighting it a little bit through here. Because if we just give in, it'll just rip us around and we'll be way on top of our point. We're just kind of keeping the antenna, the ADS-B antenna seems like it's giving me a pretty good reference point, maybe a little on the back end of it than the front.
Good.
Okay.
Now, even though you're holding a good altitude, it feels like it's kind of hard to see the point now, right?
Not really. I mean, I can see it okay. I'm not getting super steep, though, so
Good.
that might be why.
And so let's say in this case you wanted to hold the same altitude but getting closer, because if you got closer now you could get steeper and see your point better.
Right.
Or at least you can keep the same bank angle and see your point better. You could still hold it closer in or further away.
Right.
And so one of the things is if you start the maneuver too close to something, you'll be constantly too high of a bank angle. Or if you start too far away, you'll be constantly very shallow bank
Right.
angle. You can still get the same job done. Just depends on what you're trying to do.
Shallow through here. Shallow through here.
Very good. So once we get to the other side, we'll do one more time all the way around.
Okay.
I'll be a good student, and then after that, we'll probably go work some landings.
Cool. Shallow through here, and we're crabbed into the wind. We're not intentionally doing it because we're able to be smart enough and use our little reference point on the wing, but we are when we're in that phase of the circle. We are crabbed out naturally. Good. The wind's picking us up here, and we're just keeping the antenna over the point. Shallow bank through here still, and as a point starts sliding backwards, we're going to bank in and use that to keep the radius the exact same. We don't want to get too steep too soon. Right through here, we know it's going to be our steepest, basically turning into the head. We're into the tailwind.
Probably going later and see some post on one of the community pages like,
yeah,
somebody's circling my house, what happened?
spy them.
Yeah.
And bring the bank out here. We're climbing because we're not doing a very good job of our pitch control, but it's more of a pitch thing this time than a bank thing.
Very good. Very nice. Cool. Alright.
Yeah, happy with those last couple.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny how these little adjustments, even from private pilot maneuvers, will help you with your commercial maneuvers later.
Yeah.
Alright. We'll make our way back towards Terrell after we get to the other side with our tailwind again, and then we'll go do some crosswind takeoffs on that.
Traffic 135 Whiskey Alpha, left crosswind 36, Terrell.
Terrell traffic, 8 Delta Tango is about 6 miles to the north, 1,500. We'll be inbound for left downwind runway 36, touch and go.
Kettlebell traffic up plane 4266 to take off 18 left after Kettlebell.
BEA, beautiful. All right. Any questions, thoughts, concerns about all that?
Easy once you know how to do it.
And so what I like to do in the beginning with a brand new student, instead of trying to talk about the crab and the drift and all that, I just give them a point like the antenna or the wingtip or the spar line. And I just say that, use that like an extension of your finger. And even though it makes them fly like an egg in the beginning, they get the idea.
Yeah.
And now I say, okay, now we pick some points on the ground and say, I want you to hit this house every time. Or whatever. And now they can do that by changing their bank. And now they can do all the things we just did.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before, like if you showed them that one time and then you sat around and did landings for the next like 3 months, they would be exponentially better at that immediately.
662 left crosswind 18 Kettlebell.
But a couple of well-chosen words at the right time in the right place make it all fall together a lot quicker. And so like when we're doing S-turns, you're like increase or steep or less or whatever. Lessen this, like what are we lessening?
Yeah, I'm used to talking to myself where I know what I mean.
Alright. Coiling me up, bro.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me, Goose. How are we going to make all this happen?
Yeah, so we're kind of coming from the
traffic down plane
wrong side of the airport. So our options are that we either fly way over there so that we can enter the pattern on the left downwind side, or we can just cross midfield. So we're going to set up and plan to cross midfield.
Traffic.
And
for this entry, are we going to do cross midfield and enter left downwind, or are we going to do a teardrop?
I'm planning on crossing midfield and going straight in, straight to the downwind.
Beautiful. Me too. So what are some reasons why we would need to do a teardrop in a 172?
There's traffic that we have to slot in behind.
There's better reasons than that. We can slot in behind traffic like this just as easy.
If we're high?
Yeah. What if we were flying the 210 and you were really fast and you needed to bleed your speed off? Or a turbocharged airplane like that fella that came flying in here this morning.
Yeah.
So if you had to cool speed, cool temperatures, or kill some altitude, by all means. If we've set ourselves up correctly, we should always be able to do it just like you're about to do it. So we heard there was one traffic in the pattern. There may be more, but for sure there's at least one.
Yeah, and I see them. They're climbing out on the upwind right now.
Good. That's one of our other guys. He's in a 152. Depending, he may be able to get around the pattern quicker than we can because their power to weight ratio is a little bit better. Terrell traffic, 8 Delta Tango is going to be on the east side of the field, 1,500. We'll cross over and make left traffic for runway 36. Actually, I don't recognize that airplane. That's not us. It's a white tail.
Yeah.
And they're making a right turn out. Maybe.
Okay.
That might have been an optical illusion. Optical illusion.
They're definitely not going straight.
There's our guy.
Where's he at?
Just now taking off. About to reach the
Oh
top.
yeah, I see him. Yeah. Alright, so 1,500. And
so we're clear to the left. I don't see anybody off to our left side.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of cross a little further downfield. Because I want to cut in front of them. Because they're gonna be
your altitude.
Climbing out on the upwind.
And we're looking for people entering from crosswind to downwind or on the 45. If they're on your left-hand side, we're probably not faster than them.
Uh-huh.
But if they're on our right-hand side, we might be a problem.
Yeah. Not seeing anybody.
Looks clear.
And I'm ready to turn to the downwind.
Very good.
So we'll turn downwind, and I know we're going to be about to beam the 1,000-footers when we roll out. So we'll go carb heat to hot already. Brakes are firm, fuel's on both tank, mixture is set where it needs to be.
Terrell, traffic 8 Delta Tango's, left downwind runway 36, beam the numbers.
Okay. And we can go power island here.
Terrell, traffic 5 Whiskey Alpha, traffic inside.
And we're holding altitude. And trying our best to hold altitude. And there's the wide arc, so we can go flaps 10. And we can go ahead and start a descent here.
Very good.
And we're pitching for about 65 still. We're working our way back to 65. I'm going to go ahead and turn base because I don't want to get too far out of here.
Good. Terrell, traffic 8 Delta Tango's, left base runway 36, touch and go.
Alright, we're going to square up on the base, and we're looking outside. High or low, we're looking a little low, we're on speed. I'm just going to add in some power and we'll delay flaps 20 for now.
Okay.
And we do have the power available to us, yeah. So we can use the power. If it were a power off 180, we'd be diving towards the numbers and praying. We're looking a little better here, so we're going to go flaps 20, and this is just going to be a normal crosswind landing.
Okay.
Okay, power's back to idle. We're going to use our thumb and our finger, and we're not going to pick the pitch up any higher than this.
Good.
And we've got the runway made. We're going to go to flaps 30, and we'll even go to flaps 40 here. Okay, and we're looking for 60 now.
So how's it look?
We're looking like we're going to be a little short of where I want to touch down. I'm going to give it just a squirt of power.
Yeah.
And not pick the nose up anymore.
How about our alignment?
Alignment, we're on your side of the center line.
Where's the
Keep
nose
the nose
pointing?
down, keep the nose down. Wrong
Pulled
wheel.
it off twice.
Yeah, wrong wheel. Flaps are up, carb heat's cold, mixture set. Wait until we get it under control, and we'll go in with the power.
Very good. Terrell, traffic 8 Delta Tango is rolling runway 36, staying in the pattern.
A little more rudder. Bring out the sailor on.
Alright, so
Terrell 5 Whiskey Alpha.
looks like really all we need there is a little bit more left rudder.
Yeah.
Alright. So as we are coming down, our nose is pointing about 20 degrees off the right side of the runway.
Skyhawk 1741 Sierra.
Even when you're on final out there on a half mile, 5 mile final, whatever.
Right.
At some point, stick a rudder in there and see if you have enough to get it straight. Because if at some point you don't have enough rudder to get it straight,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and do a go around.
Okay, we're climbing out straight ahead to 500 feet. And we're just putting the cowling, the top of the cowling on the horizon. That'll give us about VY.
Beautiful.
Little high here, there we go. Okay, 100 feet to go. We're clear right, clear left, and we're turning left.
Entering right base 13. Got him in traffic.
That'll be a good rate to turn over there, good rate to roll.
Terrell, traffic 8 Delta Tango's left crosswind runway 36.
Uncle traffic, Cherokee 523 Alpha,
Facing
6
west
miles
now.
southeast of the airport, maneuvering
700 feet, turning cross, or turning downwind. Same thing as last time, we're going to be a little bit inside, a little bit on this side of south.
Very good.
Okay, the pitch is low, we can get it up a little bit more. Alright, and there's 1,500 feet. Bring the nose down.
Terrell 5 Whiskey Alpha, clear runway 36.
2,100 RPM here. Just press lock a little bit. And we'll give it about a swipe and trim
Terrell traffic, 8 Delta Tango's left downwind runway 36.
Alright, and the pattern, fuel's on both, brakes are feeling firm still. Make sure set. This pretty good crab going here. Beam the 1,000 footers, carpeet's gonna go to cold or hot. And to beam our touchdown zone, we're gonna pull the power to idle and we're holding altitude with our back pressure. We're in the wide arc now, flaps can go to 10.
13 doing a go around.
What can we do different to make sure we don't have to add power on this?
We can not wait as long to turn, because we were a little not great there. Pitching for 65 here, turning base.
Traffic, Cessna 117, back taxi 18 Cattlemills. Cattlemills traffic, jump plane, jumpers 4 minutes.
Okay, a little smoother here
over
too.
Cattlemills, 10,000 speed, then flow, use caution, 4 minutes.
Alright, 90 degrees, we're on base here. Final's clear. We look good, I think I can go flaps 20 here. Maybe.
I think so. Because are you going to lose that headwind here in a second?
A little, most of it, yeah. Okay, and we'll go ahead and turn final. We're not going to drop the pitch. We're not going to pick it up a whole bunch. We're going to try and keep it right where it is. Turning final, we'll look high. We're going to go ahead and go flaps full here. And we're going to transition into a side slip. And again, thumb and the finger, or thumb and the fist. We look good. Okay.
So even now, try to get that nose straight down them stripes. So we have a little bit too much aileron.
Yeah.
So let that wind push us over, because it will. Taking your time, wiggle your fingers and toes, keep your blood flowing. Don't forget to breathe.
Skyhawk 1741 Sierra, turning left at downwind 13, Cattlemills traffic.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're
Just
okay.
felt a little burble out there. Alright, I'm going to try one here real quick.
Okay, yeah. Flaps are up, carpet's cold for you. Your controls.
I have the controls. Right there at the, probably that last 50 feet, that little burble.
Yeah, it just got a little slow.
So here's our nose wheel in the air.
Uh-huh.
There's our nose wheel on the ground. In the air, on the ground. Here's us on our right wheel, and in a perfect world, we'll be about here.
Two jumpers over Cattlemills, 10,000 speed, flow, use caution, 2 minutes.
Here's how close we can get without touching anyway, which is going to be your friend when it comes for that landing, whether it's power up 180, soft field, or short field. We don't want to do that on necessarily every takeoff, but it's good for those visuals anyway.
Right.
We're climbing out, nose on the horizon about. I might even crank my seat down a little too low, because for me to do about 70, 73, I've got the horizon about right where the
Me too.
instrument panel hits the dash. So at least you and me are seeing about the same thing.
Right.
Cattlemills traffic, Skyhawk 1741 Sierra, turning left base, 13, Cattlemills traffic.
As we're climbing out, we're waiting for that next 500 or whatever, 100 feet.
Cattlemills traffic, jumpers 1 minute, 1 minute, two jumpers over Cattlemills, 10,000 feet below, use caution, 1 minute.
For all the wind that we were just practicing in, the wind's going to push us quickly. I'll relax the rudder. I get over here to 30 degrees of bank quickly. I'm holding that right rudder.
Cattlemills traffic, Skyhawk 1741 Sierra.
Here's about parallel highway 80, so I roll out.
13.
Big right rudder. We're on crosswind. I turn around again. Relax the rudder, 30 degrees of bank, because we still got the tailwind. Nose about the horizon. There's parallel just on the left side of south. We'll judge here in a minute once we level off whether or not we're tracking straight.
Okay.
As it is, I'm just trying to keep the runway the same amount of distance off the side of my nose over here.
Right.
Since you can't see the runway necessarily
Cattlemills
yet.
traffic, jumpers away, jumpers in
Might
the
be able
sky,
to do
use
something
caution
off our
over
right side, like try to
10,000
make sure I'm not getting closer to Highway 34 or whichever.
Rockwell Air Traffic, Cessna Thrust 484.
As I'm getting here,
5 miles
lower the
to
nose.
west, transitioning 2,500, Rockwell.
Get back to our altitude.
Rockwell traffic, Piper
I'm gonna
Lane
go for about
20,
2,000 RPM.
approximately 8 miles to the south. We're landing runway 35.
So I've got the runway about halfway up the strut. Is that about an inch or two above the window for you?
Yeah.
Good. We're just holding about 1,500 feet, riding out the turbulence. Terrell traffic, 8 Delta Tangos, left downwind runway 36.
117 mining.
So I'm going to try to stay high so I can over-exaggerate this whole speed control business for our crosswind.
Okay.
So here's our carburetor heat.
Shadow Mills traffic, Dog 1741 Sierra, runway 13 is clear.
There's the end of the runway.
Shadow Mills traffic,
So
fuel
for me
for
to do
Canopy,
everything else the same
1 mile
and
east
stay
of the
high,
field
I'm
at
going to turn
6,000
really
below
early.
use caution.